thinking about moving to Augusta and just wondering what are the worst neighborhoods in the Augusta area? Well, we're going to talk about the worst neighborhoods today. The first one is Glenwood in Evans. The Glenwood neighborhood is in the top 10 worst because of Hurricane Helene. It actually has nothing to do with if it's a good neighborhood or bad neighborhood. It's because Hurricane Helene destroyed so many of the homes in that neighborhood, as you're going to see in this next video clip. Okay, I'm going to be driving through. You guys are going to see while I'm talking what kind of damage we're talking about. So this neighborhood here is Glenwood neighborhood in Evans, Georgia. I'm not going to be looking at the camera because I'm going to be driving, as you can see, and you'll see blue tarps on houses that have had trees removed from them, and you'll see stacks of logs. Now, I know in this neighborhood, we're going to turn down here so you can see this one. This one got hit pretty significantly. You can see that huge blue tarp on that home, straight ahead, kind of over to the right. This is a little cul-de-sac, so you can see it right there. Oh my goodness. So that is not awesome. Now, FEMA has already come through and picked up one round of tall piles of limbs in this neighborhood, so we don't see as many trees and such piled up, and that's because they've already come through and done one round of pickup. But some people had so many trees down that they have another pile. So we're gonna just kind of go through here. You can see, well, a few of these houses survived. You can see that big pile straight ahead and that those big logs right there. That's one tree to the right. I can't see. It looks like their window was busted out in this house. And that was the house over to the right. We've got another big blue tarp coming up where it looks like a tree fell through the house. So we've got some significant damage over here. Huge pile right there in front of this house. Oh my goodness, that house is really messed up. And this one too. So these two houses had a lot of tree damage. Trees that fell straight on top of them. That's not so great. Again, another home up here on the right that has a big tarp on it, had a tree fall through. So, you know, on the left side of the neighborhood, they seem to fare pretty well. You don't really see tarps on much of the left-hand side, which is just really strange how the winds hit over here. To the left, we've got a big pile in their front yard. So they must have had several trees down in the back. I don't see a blue tarp, so I don't know if they have damage to their roof or not. We're going to turn down here. Let's see. I know there's another house down here that had significant damage, had a lot of trees on it when I drove by it the other day. So we'll come take a look over here. Again, hey, maybe if I turn the right way, I would not come to the wrong area. So part of this is, just showing you guys some of the neighborhoods and how much damage we've had in this area around the Augusta area. They've got a big pile of trees right there on the right. A lot of these piles are taller than I am. Not that I'm tall, I'm only 5'4", but still. I'm trying to think where that, oh look, there's a FEMA truck in front of us. They're going through picking up stuff right now. Sweet. Let's see if we can get around them. All right, ooh, carefully. Alrighty. Oh yeah, this is the house up here coming up that I was talking about. Big tree roots on the left. The huge, hopefully they'll take that for them. But coming up here, you can see almost the entire roof straight ahead is tarped. They had some significant damage to that home ahead, which is terrible. Okay, here's another home that had significant damage. You can see right on the right hand side, they have that whole, almost the whole roof is tarped. They had significant damage as well. All right, on to the next neighborhood. So why is it so important to learn about the areas in Augusta that were hit really hard by this hurricane? Because the media certainly was not talking about it when it happened. It was just kind of like, oh, the hurricane hit near Augusta, but I don't think that people really understand the extent of the damage that the hurricane did in our area, and it's going to have repercussions over the next at least year in our housing market, just because there were so many homes that were damaged. And so the second neighborhood that's one of the worst neighborhoods is also in the Evans area. It's Northwood neighborhood. There were a lot of trees that hit homes in this neighborhood, and it's a really nice neighborhood, but so many trees fell on so many homes, as you're going to see when we do the video tour through the neighborhood. So the important thing about thinking about reaching out to a realtor if you're moving to this area is we know the ins and outs of what areas were affected. And even in some neighborhoods, even though the neighborhood may have been hit really hard, there are certainly some homes that weren't even touched, or maybe they just had some missing shingles, and we're going to have that information. So you're going to make sure that you reach out to me, call me, text me, shoot me an email if you're thinking about moving to the area, and I can give you the lowdown on the areas that really were hit harder than some of the other areas, so you know what to look out for. Here we come into Northwood neighborhood. This is an older neighborhood in Evans, and I'm going to imagine that it did not fare well because of all of the old trees, lots of trees. Yeah, there's already damage on this house to the left. I see up ahead on the right, there's damage to roofs, tarps, huge stacks of trees, lots of tarps on roofs. Oh man, on the left, this whole roof got caved in. Oh, that's awful. My goodness. Like, there is no roof on that entire house. That's pretty bad. And I'm not sure if you guys could see it in the video or not, so that's bumming me out. I might have to stop and go hand video it for you. Over here on the right, you can see tarp, blue tarp. Yes, so Northwood did not fare that well. Looks like a few houses didn't have damage. A lot of houses that did, especially in that first section. My goodness. Over here it looks a lot better. I don't really see too much damage on these houses. So I guess it just depends on what section of Northwood. Man, that's so wild. Like, no trees piled up here. Just a little bit, a few branches. Oh, there's a tarp on the right. There's some bigger trees on the left. The third top 10 worst neighborhoods in the Augusta area is actually in Augusta, and it's this neighborhood of Somerville. Somerville is an extensive area, as you'll see on the map, and this area got hit so hard. There were everything from $100,000 houses all the way up to $1 million houses that were deeply affected by this. If you see the drive down Walton Way, it's just tree after tree after tree that is down, and several homes that just had trees annihilate them. And you're really going to want to know when you're thinking about moving to this area, if that home specifically was affected by the hurricane. Did it just have some shingles blown off, or did it have some major foundation issues? You are definitely going to want to work with a realtor who will make sure that you get a seller's disclosure disclosing if there was damage during the hurricane and what kind of damage was done, and if they had repairs done, if it was done by a reputable company, if it was DIY, and if all of that has been resolved through insurance. You can see the people are working on the power lines right now, and I'm sure we're going to see a ton of trees piled up. Here's more of Walton Way and just how much damage Helene did. At this point, we're 3 weeks out from when Helene hit, and you can just see there's so much. In Mayfair Abbey in Augusta, I know you saw some footage of Walton Way coming into Mayfair Abbey, and Walton Way was destroyed. Mayfair Abbey is a newer neighborhood, and so they did not have a bunch of big trees around. So they fared pretty well in this storm. You can see on the right, there's still definitely trees piled up, but the homes themselves on the left look fine. This is just a little kind of one street neighborhood. There are a couple of lots that are still available in here for building a home. So we're just gonna take a quick drive down here so you can see that this little neighborhood in Augusta fared much better than some other parts of Augusta. This is in the Somerville area. The next neighborhood that was deeply affected by this hurricane and is in the top 10 worst, number 4, is Montclair. Montclair is an older established neighborhood. They had lots of mature landscaping, tons of big, huge trees. And it took a lot of those houses out. Several homes that are going to be razed and rebuilt because they can't even be salvaged from how much damage was done to them. And it's really heartbreaking for those people that are losing their homes because of how much damage was done by the hurricane. One of the things that we're going to see a lot of is, because of Montclair being an older neighborhood and so many of those homes being totaled instead of being fixed, is that they're going to raise those older homes, and we're going to see new construction in some of these older, more established neighborhoods that we wouldn't typically see. And so that'll be kind of cool moving into the next year or two in the real estate market, having some new construction homes in these more established neighborhoods that are in great locations for different people. So that is one positive that we can take out of this. We are heading into Montclair in Augusta. This neighborhood was really affected by Hurricane Helene. Honestly, just a ton of damage in this neighborhood, unfortunately. Well, you'll see as soon as we get over there. So we're in the neighborhood now, and even just straight ahead, you're going to see tarps on roofs. They're are a ton of houses that had some significant damage. One of my friends who lives in here, her house is uninhabitable. She had so many trees fall on it, and unfortunately, because these homes are older, some of them are gonna be totaled because of potential lead-based paint, of potential asbestos inside the home. This whole entire roof is being replaced on the left. We need to ride down a couple of more of these streets. I think FEMA must have come through and picked some of this up, because this is the second time I've been in the neighborhood, and this looks better than it did. But she's having to stay in a rental right now while they determine whether or not they're going to total her house, or if they're, oh yeah, and all the power lines down. Lots of roofs over here on the left that trees have fallen on. And if they do, then she'll have to decide if she wants to rebuild and stay in the neighborhood, or sell the lot to someone who may want to build in this neighborhood. So we'll just keep looking through here. Oh man, that tree is leaning. We're gonna go this way. This house is destroyed over here. Up on the left, the whole entire roof is tarped. So many trees fell on this house. Really heartbreaking to see. I'm gonna turn so you guys can see it right here, straight ahead. Just trees hit it all directions. Terrible. All of this debris. Oh, you can see this tree over here that's uprooted on the left. Oh man, another house that just looks like it got decimated. Over here on the right-hand side. You can see the blue tarps, and the one next to it with the gray tarps. Oh, their carport got destroyed on the right. Man. Now moving on to the next area that was severely affected, top 10 worst neighborhoods. We move over into Martinez, which is outside of Augusta. And one of the neighborhoods that was severely damaged by the hurricane was Petersburg Station, and this neighborhood just got annihilated. So many houses that had huge trees fall through them. Unfortunately, I had some past clients who I've sold a couple of houses in there, but one of them, they had some severe damage, so much so that they ended up having to move out of state to stay with some family while they work on getting the home repaired. And what's really tough is that because it was such an extensive amount of damage throughout this whole area, it wasn't localized to one little area. Contractors and roofers and all of the trades are just slammed right now. And so to even get someone out there to give a quote is you're getting put on a wait list for months before they can even come out and tell you what they can do. That's not even starting the work. And so I imagine some of these homes are going to take a year or more to have the repairs done that need to be done to get it back to where it's livable, unfortunately. So that's just, it's really tough. And you know, that's another reason why you want to make sure if you're moving to this area, you're reaching out to me or another realtor to make sure that you know if that home has had damage from the hurricane, because when you're using a real estate agent, they're going to make sure that they're using the Georgia Association of Realtor forms, which has lots of protections in it, but also the seller is required to give you a seller's disclosure and disclose anything that has happened with the home and if they've had an insurance claim on the home. And then you'll know what kind of damage was done, if it was extensive, who did the repair work on it. You want to make sure that it was a licensed and bonded company that did the work, not just, you know, the homeowner that maybe watched a few YouTube videos and thought, hey, I can rebuild a roof. So just, you know, be aware of that if you're thinking about moving to this area. Okay, we are coming up on Petersburg Station. This neighborhood had a ton of damage from Hurricane Helene, unfortunately. One of my past clients lives in here. They ended up having to leave their home. Had many trees fall on it, and they had to go stay with their son in Wisconsin while all of this is getting fixed. But I'm just going to show you. You can see the huge piles of trees. There's a tarp on this house, this roof. Oh. So Martinez. Gonna drive around the neighborhood and kind of see what all happened in here. It looks like a few of these houses fared well, actually. Surprising. I thought it was going to be way worse, but we're just at the beginning, so we'll see. Seems like this little section over here didn't have too many mature trees to fall, so they fared pretty well. A lot of debris on this road. Oh, that chimney on the left got taken down and part of that roof. Goodness. Definitely some blue tarps. This house over here doesn't look so good. Over to the right, you can see a big blue tarp on it. Looks like it took a pretty serious hit. More tarping on roofs. Over here on the left, huge, lots and lots of trees. That has a lot, oh my goodness, a lot of debris on this section. A lot of houses that were damaged over here. Whew. Man, some of these trees are so big. Can't see around the corner, so I'm just hoping everyone's gonna drive slowly. Ooh, there's a leaning tree. Ugh. I guess the house stopped it, but my goodness, that's scary. And Hampstead is another neighborhood that was deeply affected, on number 6 in our top 10 worst neighborhoods. And Hampstead also in a totally different area of Martinez from Petersburg Station, but still deeply affected. Lots of trees that fell on homes. You'll see lots of tarps on homes in this neighborhood as we do the drive-through. We are heading into Hampstead neighborhood to take a peek at this neighborhood and see how it fared. I imagine it's a mix because there are definitely some older trees. Oh, right here to the left you can see trees piled up stuff and tarps on roofs. So, but then further up, it looks like these didn't have any trees that could hit. So it seemed to fare a little bit better over here. So we're in Martinez right now. Hampstead is in Martinez, and it's kind of a mix of different homes, as you can see on the right and the left right now. So it looks like those two homes at the front really got the brunt of it. Oh, maybe this one up here. There's some trees. I don't see any tarps for roofs, but it could be tarped in the back. I'm unsure. Definitely tree debris, but certainly not as bad as some of the other areas we've seen. Definitely some shingles missing, a couple of small tarps on roofs in here. Definitely some storm debris from Helene. This neighborhood fared better than I was expecting, so that's good. Now we're going to move over into Grovetown outside of Augusta, and one of the worst neighborhoods over there, we have Nichols Cove, which is a small neighborhood, but it's acreage lots with lots of trees, and a lot of those trees fell on those houses, and so you'll see tarps on houses. A couple of them had some extensive damage to them. Okay, we are heading into Nichols Cove in Grovetown. This neighborhood is an acreage neighborhood, and as you can see already from the front, we have piles and piles of trees. So we're going to see how these homes fared in this neighborhood. I imagine quite a few of them were hit by trees, unfortunately. On the left, you can't even see the houses yet because of all of the trees. There is a house that definitely had tree damage. There are tarps all over that roof, unfortunately. Man, we're going to turn down here. Even there's detached garage has tarp on the roof from damage. Wow. Take a look down here and see what else we see. Some of these homes we may not be able to see from the street because they're tucked back in there. But you can see from the piles of trees chopped up in the front, on the right, and on the left. Yeah, this house on the left also has a huge tarp on its roof. Not sure that you were able to see that in the video, but yeah, this neighborhood did not fare well. On the right, they've got roofers up there working on the roof now. Whew. Lots of broken trees, tree limb piles. So this is a Grovetown neighborhood that did not fare so well. So there's, pluses and minuses to having acreage. If you've got trees around your home, you can have damage when you have a hurricane come through, once every 100 years. Golly. This home on the left has a ton of tarps. Lots of tarps on the roof. Looks like a bunch of trees fell off over there. A lot of trees stacked up on the right. So we're going to keep looking through this neighborhood so you guys can see some more. Another neighborhood in Grovetown that had some extensive damage is Kingston. Kingston is a much older neighborhood, and so the trees over there, again, acreage lots, really established neighborhood, and that when there were several homes that really took a beating. One of my realtor friends lives in there, and their home really got hit by a bunch of trees. They're not able to live in that home right now. They're renting a place until they can get repairs done. Hopefully repairs done and not totaled and rebuilt, but that's just one of those things that you have to wait on insurance to let you know what's going to happen. Okay, here we are in Kingston neighborhood in Grovetown, and this is one neighborhood that really got messed up. A lot of houses were damaged in here, and that's mainly because these are acreage lots and they're much older homes, so they have lots of trees, lots of old mature trees. So y'all will see in a moment as we come through here. Lots of trees on the side, tarps on roofs. Look at all of these trees piled up on each side of the, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Look at that. On the left, tons and tons of trees that are down. Several houses that have tarps on them. I know one of my realtor friends lives in here, and they have been displaced from their home because they had so much damage to their home.
You are approaching your destination.
And then, I mean, there are a couple of houses that, you know, they didn't have trees right around them, so they fared a lot better than some of these other homes. Oh my goodness. Lots of debris from the storm in here. Piles and piles. Look how tall that pile is. So many trees that came down in this storm. Next, we're going to move over into North Augusta, South Carolina, which is right across the river from Augusta. And even in South Carolina, even this area got hit by Hurricane Helene. And so the first neighborhood we're going to talk about that got some pretty extensive damage was the Rapids. And this neighborhood is a really cool older neighborhood. There are some houses that are on the river, and then other houses where that you can get connected to the trails, the biking trails and walking trails. My mind is blanking and I can't remember the name of it. The Greenway, thank you. The Greenway, that's what it's called. But some of these homes, there are quite a few homes that have some significant damage to the roofs. You can see blue tarps in a lot of areas. So this neighborhood was pretty deeply affected. We're heading into the Rapids neighborhood. This is an older neighborhood. Lots of old trees in here, so I do not expect that it fared that well from Hurricane Helene. So we're gonna pop over here and take a look and see how the houses look. Definitely some trees leaning right and left and broken off. My goodness. Oh yeah, RDC tarps on roofs. Ugh. But maybe this is a mix. Maybe some homes were good and other homes were not good. I hope. All right, well. Oh. Well, the pickleball courts look okay. Definitely logs and trees all over the place. Wow. Ooh, all right, we're gonna going to turn down here because I definitely see some serious tarps and stacks of trees. The house on the right has a hole, but this house coming up here on the right, lots of tarping. Looks like definitely they had some trees fall right there. Ooh. But then a couple of these other ones fared a little bit better. Oh, I don't know, this one looks like it had a tree fall at the edge. I don't know if y'all can see that. Has a big tarp on the left hand side. There's a house that has a tarp over a whole section of their roof. But then it looks like over here on the right, that house didn't have anything. Oh, on the left, big section of tarp on the roof. Let's go take a peek down here. Yeah. This house on the right just has the top right corner, or top left corner, hit by a tree. Man. Oh yeah, this house in front, straight ahead. We're gonna do a little, can we do a little circle? You'll see all the trees stacked up, but it definitely hit the roof of that house. These houses look like they fared a little bit better. I don't really see tarps on any of these. So this section looks pretty good. Just a little bit of debris on the sides of the road. Nothing major like in that other section. Well, that one had a big tree. So this neighborhood, sections that were not good and other sections that don't even look like there was a storm, really. So it's weird how that happens. And then another neighborhood, which is an older neighborhood from the Rapids and not too far from the Rapids, Hammond Hills. This is number 10 on our worst neighborhoods list. Hammond Hills really, really got it. Those houses were built back in the 60s, 70s, some 80s, and they had a lot of big, huge, awesome trees that fell on houses, totally wrecked houses. And so it's really heartbreaking to see all of the extensive damage throughout this whole area. All right, so heading into Hammond Hills, this neighborhood I know for sure because I was talking to a past client yesterday whose parents live in Hammond Hills. It got wrecked. They were having to climb over trees to get out, which is pretty crazy. So we're gonna take a little drive through here. I expect to see lots of tarps on houses and stacks of trees.
After 400 feet.
Yeah, I'm already seeing tarps on houses, roof damage, both right and left, and you can see all of the stacks. Again, this is all the way over in North Augusta. So as you can see, it's extensive damage throughout the whole area. Oh man, this house on the right is totally, the roof is totally caved in. Oh, that's awful. We've got a house on the left with tarps all over it. Several houses to the left with tarps. Man. It's just wild. Look how huge that tree trunk is right there on the right. And the left. Oh my gosh. Still some trees that are leaning. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Just a lot. I don't even know if we're going to be able to turn left. It's fine. Oh man, look at that tree trunk. Yeah. Lots of damage in this neighborhood. Really unfortunate. More tarps on roofs over here to the right and to the left, both. Wow. Oh, someone has a, look, I'm going to turn this way. Look, someone painted a pumpkin on that trunk. I don't know if you can see it on the right. Oh, it's cute. And I know I gave you a top 10 worst, but honestly, there are so many more neighborhoods that are equal to some of these neighborhoods on this top 10 worst list. And so don't think that these are the only 10 that really got affected. We have so many neighborhoods that were affected in this area by Hurricane Helene that took some extensive damage. So you just want to make sure you're reaching out to me, calling me, emailing me, texting me, ask me the questions. I'm glad to share any information with you and just keep you up to date on areas that are being rebuilt, areas that weren't necessarily affected, so that you can make an informed decision when moving to this area.